Hello.
Mr. Hudson, how are you?
Good evening, Jason. How are you?
I'm well, I'm well. I'm on the train to D.C. to carry out Mission Congress.
Project Clear and Present Danger, huh?
Exactly.
Jason, I want you to know something. The work that you and Queen Tut did on this was really excellent.
Thank you.
We are all proud of you, and very proud of the fact that you're a gutsy little guy, buddy. You're taking that to Washington, D.C. and videotape the deliveries. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. Hopefully we can get some traction. I've already been getting some emails and calls from people who have contacts with representatives from their states, and they're trying to get appointments for me and help me see their staff members and things like that. So, even if we can't hand it directly to the representative, as long as we get someone in the office who confirms delivery of it and sees the information, I mean, that's going to be a huge step forward from where we were just a couple of months ago.
Exactly, and Jason, I'll tell you, this is throwing down the gauntlet on these people.
Yeah,
it's not like they haven't been called. They've received numerous calls, and I am very pleased to hear that the crowdsource audience is also making calls to the representatives. This is putting them on notice.
Yeah,
they're not going to be able to deny that they were not informed.
Now, I did receive information from one of our crowdsourced community members that the FBI is off the list. You can't just walk in there and hand them information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that report that I was going to give to the FBI, and I think I'm going to bring it to Senator Schumer. I'm not sure if he remembers our meeting on the train, but he was quite rude at that time. Perhaps he'll be a little more polite if I come visit him in his office. I just want to hand him the information.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know if I agree with that individual. I do know that there's a receiving office, an area. Of course, you've got to go through, you got to go past security and that type of thing. But I don't think I agree with that. I think you most certainly can go in and
to the FBI.
Yeah, I really do.
Well, I'll try it.
Doesn't hurt to knock on the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could be wrong on this one. They changed things around, but anyway, it's the idea that you're standing outside of the building, and if they refuse to let you in, that's a message in of itself.
Yeah. I can understand that they just don't want any old person coming in off the street handing them an envelope. I mean, it's not going to be an envelope. I don't have envelopes. I have open folders with a clear cover, so there's no misunderstanding about what's contained there. It's just a paper document with print on it and nothing more.
Right. I think one of the things that bothers me, I understand about security, and I know people do. We understand about security and security protocols and government wanting to be protected, but at the same token, government is there supposedly to serve the people of this nation. And if you really stop and think about it, for a law-abiding citizen of this nation not to have access for government is shameful.
Yeah.
But it is going to be interesting. And something else, have you been following the Awan latest news that is the one who placed the computer that was found by the Capitol Police, and there were letters and cards and business cards and notes.
Yeah. We're
not buying it. We could be wrong on this, but we're not buying it at all.
It definitely seems strange.
We're not buying it, but it is very interesting that somebody has decided to play this way. And if you recall, it was probably 2 or 3 months ago. It might have been 3 months ago. You asked me how this might play out, and I told you that we were hearing that the decision had been made that Hillary Clinton was going to be cut off at the knees.
Right.
And that the shadow government, if you want to call it that, was trying to figure out how they were going to shut some things down, get rid of some people, and then bring it all back under new management. We think that might exactly be what's taking place.
Right.
Evidently, and what we're hearing is the decision has been made that Debbie Wasserman Schultz is going to go down.
Yeah, well, I'll be excited to see that.
Yeah, and that it's going to feed, and then it's going to go up the chain.
Yeah.
Right towards Hillary Clinton. You've got Huma Abedin, we've got Mr. Weiner, of course, we've got Mr. Podesta, and we're hearing that some decisions have been made.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people said, well, it appears that Trump is being surrounded by the deep state, or rather the shadow government.
Right.
We mentioned that we kind of felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of the people that he got rid of, and we're not in agreement with that. So that is a good question. You know, are they going to save Imran Awan? Has he cut a deal? We understand that Hina has reached a deal. Hina Alvi.
That would make sense.
And she's flying back.
Mm-hmm.
The next couple weeks are going to be very interesting.
I'll tell you the truth, Mr. Hudson. I'd be all right with living in a world where Imran Awan and Hina Alvi get sent back to Pakistan, never to return to the United States, and the people that are responsible for enabling them to do what they've done go to jail. That would be all right by me.
Well, we tend to agree with that. Basically, we would identify the spy and the spy ring.
Right.
We would send them back to ISI to teach. I hate to say it, but that's what they would do. They would most likely, I really hate this part, but they'll just simply shut down some rat lines, kill a few people, reopen the rat lines so they can keep their cash flow, and that could very well be what takes place. But we agree with you that in the event that this also takes out the traitors to this nation. You know,
right.
It's one thing to be an ISI spy. It's another thing to be a traitor.
A congressman working with them is even worse.
Congressmen, senators, yes. That's really how we look at it. It's of course, we would want all of the information. We want a complete debrief. We want it all. You know, Mr. Awan, you're going to spill your guts. Give us everything you've got. Tell us every minute detail. Here's the thing, though. Think about this. If you're a congressman in Washington, or a senator, or some other government agency employee that got jammed up in this, and think about it. If by chance you were also being blackmailed and all this comes out, you're done.
Yeah.
These people better be running. If there's any congressmen listening, congresswomen, if there's any staff members listening to this right now tonight, anybody with the U.S. Senate that knows you were compromised and knows you were blackmailed, you better be making a deal right now. You better be on the phone. You better be calling in every chip you can, every favor. You better be spilling your guts. Because we're not going to stop, are we, Jason?
No, certainly not.
Yeah, Crowdsource the Truth News Network is on this like stink on shit, people, and we're not going to stop. We're going to take this all the way to Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. Hillary, if you're listening, you're done. You're finished, and you can't kill all of us.
Yeah.
There's too many of us. That's why I put all this together, and others have done so.
Mm-hmm.
She can't kill all of us.
I think Charles Ortel and a lot of the people that he's working with have some interesting new information brewing that we should be hearing about pretty soon as well. So the walls do appear to be caving in. Now, there is something kind of strange developing, Mr. Hudson. You remember Laurel, the renter at 4809 Sprayer Street, who was the second material witness to come forward with information about Imran Awan?
Yeah.
She just came forward the other day, and I've been communicating with her back and forth about how to release her information. We recorded a really lengthy phone interview, and then after it was recorded, she was deliberating as to how and if she wanted to be released. And, you know, we had agreed that I would redact certain bits of personal information. But as I started to do that, it became more of a creative editing process for her, where she wanted to sort of shape the story and drip it out in a very controlled way that didn't seem journalistically accurate to me. So I had convinced her to leave in certain particular elements, mostly regarding the behavior of the mainstream media and how they had this information for some time and wouldn't release it. And she's just acting very strangely. She seems to think that by releasing this information, uh, what she says here is she believes I'm helping set Imran free instead of putting personalized nails in his coffin. So
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I don't know why she feels that way, and she's basically not interested in explaining it to me. So she's allowed me to release the information, and I just did that right before this call began, so people can see that up on Crowdsource the Truth.
Good, because that has to come out, and it's unfortunate if she is. And notice I'm saying if, and I'm not saying that she isn't a victim in this. I'm saying if she is a victim in this, it's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
And to be quite honest about it, for she, for her own safety and her family's safety, the getting this information out into the public eye is actually in her benefit.
I agree.
The other thing too, it seems to me that she had some contact with some reporters, and even an FBI agent or two, and they didn't do anything. I mean, they basically tried to squelch her story. Am I incorrect?
Luke Rosiak is one of the reporters who met with her, and Luke did release some of her information. Luke works for Daily Caller, of course, and he has his methodology and, the way he produces stories. Daily Caller generally, creates a story that goes on a web page, and they have a certain number of stories they release per day, and, Luke's got his way of working.
It's the Daily Caller that is basically now saying that Imran Awan is the one that left the computer there for the Capitol Police.
Well, that's what I find strange about the way the story is shifting. And I tried to explain to Laurel that, there was a moment there where she was telling me, if I edit it in this way, she'll give me this additional information. And I really wasn't interested in negotiating for information in that way. The way I like to run Crowdsource the Truth is I record people's stories and I put them out to a large group so that everyone can analyze them, everyone can see them, and frankly, I was willing to redact information from her story to protect members of her family that are unrelated to the story and things that she might have said that she might not have intended to say, but I would prefer to do it live. My arrangement with Andre Taggart was that our interview was to be live, specifically so that I would not have the opportunity to edit, and I would prefer to do it that way.
Right, I think that's the way it should be done. Let's face it, there's enough massaging, if you want to put it that way, of the news and stories already. We need to get away from that. It needs to be raw. News deserves to be raw.
I agree. I think that this is a woman who's been traumatized for a variety of different reasons. Possibly her interactions with Imran Awan, possibly her treatment by the press, possibly her treatment by the FBI. I don't really know. I don't know her at all. I've only been interacting with her for a couple of days. But my last message to her, I told her that I hope she would come to realize that my persistence in sort of insisting that the information about the Washington Post's handling of her story and other things would ultimately prove to be important information to be out there in the public. And I really hope that people will listen to that. It's a very lengthy interview, but even in just the few minutes it's been out, several hundred people have already started viewing it. So that's a good sign.
Right. Well, the other thing too, Jason, is that, and it's sad, but the truth is painful. It always is. The truth is, in my experience, the truth has always been painful for those involved and who committed, whatever it is that they did that was wrong. But all so often, the truth is also painful for victims and other people that just got caught up in it. The innocence. The truth is like that.
Yep.
And but it can't be helped, and the truth must be told, and that is the only way that a society can exist, in my opinion. It can't be built on lies. It has to be built on truth. So I really commend your efforts, and Crowdsource the Truth was a good choice of names.
Thanks.
Had an opportunity to spend some time with Joe Napoli. What an amazing man! And folks, I want you to know something. If you're looking for a job, if you need some help in that regard, this man is so down to earth and personable that there's no doubt in my mind he would help anybody.
So resourceful.
Great
too.
guy. Yeah, excellent. His work has been good. So we went over a few things about the autopsy and the incident report, the police incident report, which is not the investigative report.
In the Washington death investigation, right?
Yeah, and Joe's a bulldog, so he's on a trail and he's not coming off of it.
Yeah, he's uncovering incredible information. I mean, I keep saying this, but it deserves to be said again and again. In just a couple days, well, more than a couple days, but with the persistence that Joe's been applying, he's uncovering more details about this case than I've heard in any other news outlet anywhere. I mean, comparing the police report to the autopsy report, Joe has now interfaced with the pathologist. We've spoken with Mr. Wisenet's widow. It's astounding.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, and that's a true statement. It really is, and not just because it's coming. I mean, it really is. Crowdsource the Truth News is doing amazing things with no budget.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really. And there's not another news agency anywhere that I have seen covered the same material that you have.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate your input, Mr. Hudson. You and the analysis that you've been providing and the various groups that you're in touch with have been really, really helpful. So we're going to keep plugging along, and tomorrow in Washington, D.C. should be an eventful day. I hope that as the news of 4809 Sprayer Street and the information that was revealed there, as that spreads around, hopefully it'll lead to more renters coming forward. If there's anybody else who rented a home from Imran Awan, and they can talk to us about his methodology, his interactions with them, anything they noticed. For instance, Laurel told me there was a shed in the backyard that had a light on all the time, and she had a specific conversation with Imran about that shed. And Imran told her that the light was on a cooling unit and it needed to stay on. When I asked her about the electric bill, hoping that perhaps a high electric bill could help us get some indication of what type of electrical equipment might have been in there, I think you and I have both discussed that we suspect it was probably a server or servers. If we had more information about that electric bill, every single bit of data that we can get related to that location, who knows what it would lead to, and you know, cross-referencing.
No doubt about it. I thought that was a shed that was on the carport. Was it in the backyard?
You're right. She might have said that it was off the carport. Right. That right, might be correct. Right.
But that there was a light on all the time, and he told her the switch had to be left on because evidently he was feeding that off the house, and because it needed to stay cool because of what he had stored inside.
That's right. He did specifically
say that.
George
Webb has been looking for the off-site servers, and I would venture to say that is one location. It may have been a location for multiple servers located in that little building sitting there on the carport. It's hard to say.
Certainly seems like a significant piece of information.
Yep, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it's funny because, you know, Jason, as George has continued on his path in exposing this, and then Crowdsource doing its thing. Have you noticed how these events coincide with our effort?
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. It's uncanny. I don't know if other people see this, but honestly, you start looking at it, and you look at the amount of evidence that we're bringing forth, and as we bring forth this evidence and we start telling people like tomorrow we're throwing down the gauntlet, man, it's like they did everything they could, because it's almost like they knew it was coming and they just had to break it today that, it was Imran Awan that did this. And Alex Jones, man, he really drank the Kool-Aid on this one.
I wonder why he's so convinced.
Well, I know a lot of people like Alex Jones. I'm not going to sit here and say that Alex doesn't spew out some great truths. Mm-hmm. He does. He has exposed a lot of things, but there's just something not right there. There just isn't something right there. Mm. We feel he really drank the Kool-Aid on this, and quite frankly, without mentioning names, we're concerned about some of the people he's affiliated with. I'll name one, Steve Pachenik.
Oh boy,
we're concerned about that.
I know George got us into some trouble by doing that in the past, but what's the issue there?
Steve Pachenik is dangerous. When anybody says, they can say whatever they want to about me, but his nickname was the Shark. If you don't understand that, you just take a look at a picture of him when he's showing his teeth.
Huh.
He's got that "I want to eat your liver" smile. You know what I mean?
Wow. I never heard of Steve Pachenik before I saw him on InfoWars. I don't really know what to say. I know that George's comments about Clockwork Orange got us sort of banned from there.
Yep. I mean, that's a man that could write you an encyclopedia about mind control and MI6 and all that mess. I mean, yeah. I know that people have a change of heart. I know that people turn from their wicked ways sometimes and choose to walk the path of light.
Well, I don't know. I want to try to reestablish my good relationship with Dr. Corsi, so I don't really want to do anything to upset Alex Jones or Steve Pachenik at the moment, but I appreciate your input, Mr. Hudson. I'll have to learn more about this.
Yeah, it's my opinion, not yours, and Dr. Corsi, I can't speak highly enough of Dr. Corsi.
Yeah.
I've told you that from way back that Dr. Corsi would be great to interview. He's a wonderful man, extremely intelligent, and you can really count on what Dr. Corsi has to say. He's not going to mislead you.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Ortel the same way, and other people that you're going to be bringing on hopefully here in the near future. I just continue to see Crowdsource growing, has a great audience, and I can't wait. I can't wait until tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the result is there. I mean, it's kind of the first real grassroots movement kind of thing that we've done. That we're always interacting with our community members, but now we're kind of interacting with Congress, and that's an interesting new kind of area for us. So we'll see. Yep.
Okay. Well, Jason, I know you're on the train and you've had a long day. I'm going to let you go.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, one more thing. If you are in Florida or have loved ones in Florida, get out.
Yeah.
None of us with the Hudson groups, we were talking about it. What would we do? All of us would pack up our families and we would get out. This storm is really bad. Sustained winds now have moved up to over 180 miles an hour with wind gusts hitting over 200. They had one that hit 220 miles an hour. And the ocean waves are hitting 57 feet.
Wow.
And the storm surge is over 10 feet. So get out.
Wow. I heard somewhere.
I know. Uh-huh.
I heard somewhere it was the most powerful hurricane ever.
Well, it is. And it's the most powerful one that's ever been recorded since we've been recording hurricanes.
Wow.
And if a person wants to wrap their mind around it to understand how powerful it is, all of the other 8 that we've had this season, this hurricane is more powerful than all of the 8 combined.
Wow.
So this is not something to mess with, and it's our opinion, and I know a lot of people thought I was foolish telling people to prepare. Listen, they've already run out of gasoline down there. The governor has called tankers in.
Oh boy.
Yeah, to bring more fuel, and water is practically gone. A lot of other supplies are gone. They're not sure where this storm is going to go. There's a possibility it'll run right up through the center of the state, and I don't know what else to say other than I will never apologize to a group of people again or change my thoughts when I tell people to prepare. They should. So our prayers are with them. Our prayers are with them, and hopefully people will get out. And I mean, like right now, within the hour, you need to pack up and get on the road, because tomorrow we foresee people trying to leave the state, and then it's really going to be a traffic jam.
Wow. Some people listening and some people who we've worked with in the past would think I'm ridiculous for saying this, but I've been very interested in the High Altitude Atmospheric Research Program and how it uses an array of radio telescopes to excite the ionosphere. And I was looking around just preliminarily at some websites that claim that the HARP can interact with and affect the weather. And I wonder if there's any documented proof to that.
We'll have to talk about that sometime, Jason. Not only the United States, but Russia and other countries have had and have experimented on weather manipulation for many, many years. And we can probably enlighten that a little bit for you.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that down the road. All right, Mr. Hudson. Have a good night.
Buddy.
I'll speak to you tomorrow.
You too. God bless you. God bless you folks, and God bless all the families in Florida.
Take care.
Good night.